Swimming Pool Steve here with 5 tips for pool safety, things that you can implement around your swimming pool to help remove some of the most commonly known to be dangerous areas of swimming pools. For example, the first thing on the list, no diving boards and slides. If you are just having a pool built and are considering adding a diving board or a slide, which most people do, you may want to consider omitting these from your design plans. While they can be good and a source of entertainment, oftentimes the reality is diving boards and slides get used for a couple of years maximum, and then their novelty wears off over time, and they kind of just sit there unused. And they are both a very expensive item to add onto your swimming pool. Now, if you consider the fact that if you have kids and you have a swimming pool and you have a diving board or slide on the swimming pool, and you also have a handgun, your kids are more likely to be killed by the swimming pool diving board or the swimming pool slide than they are to be killed by that handgun. This is very important, and a lot of people do not give enough credence to just how dangerous a swimming pool can be. Combine that with having a number of kids and the swimming pool being a popular attraction for, summertime fun. There can be an awful lot of time where, people aren't as supervised as they should be, or accidents can happen in any situation. But the reality is that having a diving board or a slide on your swimming pool dramatically increases the likelihood of a severe accident or a fatality related to your swimming pool. If you want to make your pool as safe as possible, that's the first thing that you need to take care of. The second most important thing is to install a pool light. Swimming at nighttime is fantastic, and most swimming pools built nowadays are required to have a light by safety standards. However, it's not uncommon for lights to fail over time, or if you have an older pool, perhaps you didn't have a light. You should consider having a light installed. There's a number of options available. Lighting used to be extremely expensive and only available during major restoration projects, but there are some aftermarket bolt-on items now that you can get that are very reasonable in terms of cost and ability to install on any pool. And you can at least have some lighting in the pool. A little goes a long way at night, just so that you can, see your depth and things like that to help avoid injury. So consider repairing your light if you have a broken one, or installing a new pool light if you want your pool to be as safe as possible. And that kind of leads into the third thing on the list, which is everything electrical associated with your swimming pool, from your pump to your heater to the light that we were just talking about. All of these need to be properly grounded, and then they need to be on a GFI breaker. GFI breaker or a GFI plug is a ground fault interrupt circuit, and essentially is a hair trigger for electrical short to ground. This is designed for water applications to help minimize the risk of electrocution, and this is a must-have for all swimming pool components. So you should check in your electrical panel or speak with an electrician if you're unsure, to ensure that all of your swimming pool items and anything associated with your swimming pool is properly protected on a GFI circuit. The next thing on your list to consider when you're looking at ways to make your swimming pool safer are swimming pool alarm products and swimming pool safety covers. Now, swimming pool alarms are typically very inexpensive items that would float in the water, and if they sense a disruption in the water, then they can sound an alarm. My concern as a professional with this item has always been that it creates a false sense of security, thinking that your pool is more protected than it is, when in reality, accidents happen very quickly, especially with small children, and I have never felt confident in my own life to use swimming pool alarms, so I don't recommend them professionally either. Swimming pool safety covers are a fantastic option, but unfortunately it's limited to those people who are not budget conscious. Swimming pool safety covers are expensive. The top of the line ones will come in around $15,000. Now, there has been a lot of price reduction in this area of the market over the last 5 years, and you can probably get yourself into an entry-level, manually operated swimming pool safety cover for 1/3 of that amount, maybe $5,000 to $7,000, depending on where you're located and where you're purchasing from, and also the shape of your pool and the ability to have something retrofit to it. If you haven't built your pool yet, it can be a better design, and it can be a little bit easier on the pocketbook to integrate your pool safety cover into the original design of the pool. Again, this is limited for those that can afford it, but there are a number of other advantages to having a pool safety cover. The final thing that's worth mentioning in terms of keeping your pool safe as can be is to do deck maintenance. The swimming pool area gets a lot of use, and as much as you might say that you don't want people running around the pool, the reality is that that is going to happen. If you have a heavily textured broomed concrete finish, that is fairly slip resistant, and that is the de facto standard for safety around a swimming pool. However, nowadays, a much more common surface for around the pool is a stamped concrete. And stamped concrete can be, even in the best of situations, extremely slippery. Some stamped concrete designs and finishes can just be downright treacherous. So you need to decide for yourself whether you want to have the design or the safety when dealing with a swimming pool. If you already have stamped concrete and you're looking to, deal with this as best as possible, possibly the only solution that would be available to you would be to use something like a silica sand mixed with a sealer. You would typically need to reseal stamped concrete periodically every 1 to 2 years, depending on what kind of sealer you're using. And at that point, you could look at adding a silica sand product. One brand in particular is called Shark Grip that I'm aware of, but essentially it is just a type of silica sand. And you add this right to your concrete sealer so that when you, next time when you seal the deck, you're going to end up with a kind of a sanded textured finish. It's not the best. It sometimes can visibly show in addition to being able to be felt on the concrete, but it is a much better solution than having a treacherously slippery pool deck, just inviting injury to happen. So if you follow these steps, you will have eliminated the most common areas for injury to happen around swimming pools.